Hello YouTube, and welcome to another evening video of mine. Today I'm gonna actually be showing this old and I guess kind of ugly computer by today's standards. I actually ran the new Windows 11 that Microsoft put out. Shoot, I got this yeah. Anyway, sometimes have a problem with roaches, but anyway, I got of course this has a DVD burner drive, and even right here is an old floppy drive that actually Windows 11 still supports. And I'm actually using it with this monitor up here, so as you can see there, kind of. And even the date on that monitor says it's from September of 2006. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this PC and let's see it run Windows 11. Okay, now go into here. Okay, there's a screen right there. And there's the Windows 11 start screen. And there it is. Didn't take long at all for it to start Windows 11. Apparently what I did is I remember I downloaded while this was still having Windows 10, I downloaded the Windows 11 ISO. That's just an error saying it's from an old game that I put on there. It's like something that's out of date anyway. I remember what I did is I downloaded the Windows 11 ISO. And then I copied it. Now I copied all of its contents into this folder here, Windows 11 install. And now I remember I went to the sources. And that was this file right here. I remember before it said appraisers.dll. Of course it just said .dll, but then all I did is I renamed that file to add.old, as another YouTuber pointed out, so that actually did the trick. So I know earlier, like a few years ago, everybody was saying, and Microsoft was saying that Windows 10 is going to be the last version of Windows that Microsoft is going to make. Well, it turns out they were wrong, because as we can see here now they have Windows 11, Windows 11 Pro, just now installed on the 28th. As we can see here, it's got an Intel Core 2 Quad Q9550. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, and the graphics card's a GTX 570. So this being a Core 2 Quad, it's obviously nowhere near the list of Microsoft's compatible CPUs. But nevertheless, it does still work, I can obviously open up Edge. Obviously all that still works just fine. You can get all the news and feeds and whatnot. check all the news, what's happening. But of course, generally what I use is Google Chrome, which obviously works just as well. And of course, I can easily go here to YouTube. It's got all these notifications. And I kind of was watching this video here that Tech Deals put out a while ago.
That's weird. I'm used to thinking of MBTs and G, whatever the G1 is in U. On August 18th, 2020. They let it run anymore for fear of the content being blocked.
So yeah, everything still works.
You know, you've got the full store here, and of course, I don't have anything in my library. This is just a account. This is a dummy account to put on here.
And of course, I can open up the Microsoft Store.
Steam must now be restarted. Oh, interesting.
Ding. Of course, I can easily make these two side by side.
Helpful. Here you can see the free-to-play games section.
Of course, I got my
Steam. There are a ton of
app running.
Here. I'm going to click on Top Sellers, and I'm going to come down here to Team Fortress 2, a very popular game. 2007 definitely falls within the category of Windows XP. We'll hit play now, and it will give us the option to download and install it. Of course, it has to create the local cache files, which takes just a second. And we'll come down to Manage Downloads.
Yeah, you can sort of tile it like that.
And we definitely do not limit bandwidth to no limit.
I guess you can sort of choose a layout like this.
Otherwise, this would take forever plus 1 day if we had throttling in place. Now, I only have a 100 megabit Ethernet.
It's not perfect, but
computer, and we are blessed and very fortunate that we have gigabit fiber to our office. So this is not going to download at the 100 megabytes per second it is technically.
Of course, I'll also got my Steam run just fine.
Power limitations of Windows XP. I'm kind of curious, if I stuck a gigabit Ethernet connection in here, would it actually download 100 megabytes per second? I have found that the download speed on Steam can sometimes drive RAM and CPU usage through the roof when you're using a full 100 megabytes.
See, I got TikTok on there.
110, but whatever. And so, even if we had a faster connection, it may not run as fast because we may very well be limited via CPU and GPU. Notice that we are using 22, 34, 25. We're using a decent chunk of our CPU. You can see it bouncing between the various cores here. And so if we increased our download speed by a factor of 10, I'll bet that CPU usage would be at 100%. I'll bet you would not be getting full download speed. We might be getting half. Now, you'll notice that
hello, there's even the standalone Facebook app.
Sit here and wait for that to finish because, well, that's not.
So I can download that if I want to.
I'm going to show you something. Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Library.
Okay, we're gonna get back to this YouTube here.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive, released 2012. If we scroll down to this game, you'll see it supports Windows XP. Core 2 Duo. Well, we have a Core 2 Quad.
And so do I right here.
RAM, minimum 2. Video card has to be 256 megs. We've got a 2 gig card. Clearly no problem. This game will run on this computer just fine. Steam must now be restarted in in order to proceed to the last session, you won't be able to continue.
Steam must now be restarted.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll restart Steam, and we'll wait for this to reboot. Connecting Steam account. Tech Deals loads up. Okay, fine. That seems like it should be okay. In fact, if I come over here to library, you'll see that Team Fortress 2 is downloading just as it should. But wait a minute. Where is our game? Interesting question. So we'll come back over here.
But wait a minute.
Browse. Yes, it is really this slow. I have forgotten how slow Core 2 prompts are. Yes, we're running.
Yeah.
Yes, in theory. Hey, World of Warships.
So yeah, that's YouTube working there. Okay, so you open Facebook app. And it automatically brings me to my Facebook page, apparently. Yeah, see how quick that opened up, and this is on an ancient Core 2 quad PC. Okay. One more thing I wanted to run here. So I can go ahead and close out of all this. Anyway, continuing on with this. It's I'm gonna go ahead and run this user benchmark where I had it. And saying that must be an old download. Okay, so we'll wait for that to finish. And basically wait for it to do its thing here. Close out this. And of course that's one of the default wallpapers that it has. Yeah, just kind of wait for that to go through. And here we are with the results. I'm going to close this. And it's a Battle Cruiser for desktop. And of course it shows that its motherboard's an Asus P5B Premium, 4 gigs of RAM, Windows 11. Its BIOS date is from September 18th, 2009. Okay, now we go to the description here. It says, overall this PC is performing above expectations. This means that out of 100 PCs, 39 perform better with exactly the same components. And it shows with the processor, it's a good single core score. Despite its good, the CPU with a good single core score, the CPU can easily handle the majority of the general computing tasks. Despite its good single core score, this processor isn't appropriate for workstation use due to its relatively weak multi-core performance. Finally, with a gaming score of 64.5, the CPU suitability for 3D gaming is above average. Says for the GPU, it's 18.7, is below average. Says that the GPU can handle older games, but it struggled to render recent games. Got 51.2 on the SSD score, 4 gigs of RAM, and for the OS it shows Windows 11 is the most recent version of Windows and best to date in our opinion. Okay, Core 2 Quad, GTX 570, but yeah, everything seems to be working fine. Last thing I wanted to point out is oddly, even though nobody's really used it for at least the past 20 years, Windows 11 does actually still support a floppy disk drive. You know, which actually what I got here. So as expected, see, I can open up the floppy disk drive, show more options, properties. So yep, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and shut this down. So yeah, Microsoft says you need TPM 2.0 and an 8th gen or newer Intel Core or 2nd gen or later Ryzen to run Windows 11. It seems like they were wrong about that too, because just with that buy price you can run it on just about anything. Well, have a good night and thanks for watching.